make it a little bit quicker. So it's still a little bit weird on that. But this is Eskil from Web3 Security, and the topic today I want to bring with you is about the Web3 security for everyone, which is like for user security. So, I mean, first I want to ask a little bit question about when you're thinking about security. I mean, what is in your mind? Because actually, I found out that people could probably think about different things when we talk about security. Because a lot of topic about different chain, about security, about anti-censorship, and a lot of security topic is basically around the auditing the smart contract. But I think it has been some corner has been long time ignored, which is the user security. Because I personally, and probably you and your friend, do see someone have been scammed every day was due to some phishing rug pull. I mean, a lot of traditional Web2 attack and also like a fake NFT attack from your approval and signature. But this haven't been kind of like show a lot in the media. It's not like news from the Poly Network, Optimism, Rooney. You probably have seen this a big headline in the media. But for users, it's not always there. I mean, even this happen every day. I mean, even under our estimated, this is the most part of asset have been stolen or scammed there. So for user, I think I just want to quickly take you to the risky journey, which is for Web3. I mean, why this is, not so pleasant. Because we have been talking with different, even from the central exchange OTC, and they are saying a lot of users, when they first transfer the money into, from fiat to some USDC or Ethereum, actually the next action they do is transfer that to some fraud website, which is nothing relevant with Web3. And you probably also heard a lot of story like someone losing his private key or his computer or mobile phone has been hacked. And even once, finally you get board your asset into the real, public chain, but you still have a lot of risky when you're signing on something. Because the problem is 99% of people, when you're signing something, you have no idea what you're signing for because it's not been, illustrated there. Furthermore, it's also, increasing the risk, your interaction with some malicious address. Some probably under the blacklist of AML, and some address itself is actually a scammer or a cipher. And so in the end, you probably pick up something you finally like, but due to this, vulnerability in their code, they're probably getting attacked, or some project getting social attacked. For example, Rooney and Harmony, they were kind of being phished during their email, which is a very traditional Web2 trick, but it's also happened directly on the Web3 world with a lot of more money there. So, if we say here's a problem, then here should be some solution for that. And if we see Web3 security is a real problem, but what is the development stage for the industry to doing something on that? So here I show you a very quick picture about, according to our knowledge, what do we have right now on Earth about the people who are providing all this risky security thing. And I think the most kind of being easy to think about is actually auditing. Because we, Go+ have started to user security data from 2020. And in the last 2 years, the most frequent question we got is always, oh, you guys doing auditing? No, we don't do auditing. This is somebody else's job. But even for auditing, they still don't have enough, amount of capacity to dealing with all the projects who want to do auditing. But there's also a gap there. And beside it, even auditing itself is not enough. Because in the end, auditing is more like a one-time shot. It's like consultancy. It's some checking on your current code, but the problem is every project, they update with their code. It's not like a static, I would just use that forever until I die. Actually, they probably update their version on the next day. So they probably also need a lot of traditional security measures like penetration or a lot of traditional security ways like on their internet, on their end, on their threaten report, and on their security database. And another thing, as I mentioned a lot for the users. So users facing more problem. They are more high frequent and they are less professional. And even right now, as the development of Web3, we see the user actually, they have less and less knowledge about that. But at the same time, you don't really have so many solutions. Very limited choice. At the same time, I mean, on another side, for CeFi, central exchange, or public chain, unfortunately, they also have the report to they were being attacked or they have a code leak there. So it's like the whole matter of the things. So a lot of things were leaking there. But what could be, I mean, like the key question to, I mean, keep up with the situation to improving on that. So we have a very simple logic about it. For the whole security thing, especially regarding on user, the basic logic is about attackers and the defender. So why there's a lot of attacker in Web3 world trying to attack on these users, doing all the phishing, rug pull, fake NFT? I mean, first thing in my mind is like, because it's so easy. And second is like, they do have a lot of money there they can hack on. And this is something a little bit different from Web 2. Because Web 2, you probably also heard a lot of the problem, a lot of attacker, a lot of cracker. But actually, very few people, you really lose your money from your bank account directly. Because you still have some bank backend, like protecting everything. But in Web3, it's a different story. You lose your wallet, you're getting attacked by some phishing website, you're down. You sign that, you're down. And on another side, as I mentioned, there's not enough solution. So what we really needed, I mean, before we thinking about how could we solve this problem, we need to know what is happening. We need to know the data. We need to know how many people are doing the bad thing and how this user losing their asset and in what way they lose it. I think this is a fundamental thing we're trying to solve. We're trying to provide the data. And that should be a dynamic, automatic, and real-time information. It's not like auditing. I have no problem with auditing, but the problem is they only do that for one shot. But the thing is not, I mean, it's not real-time. It's not really tracking what's going on. So in the end day, I mean, I cannot see like there will be some they say we cannot eliminate all the attackers, but there could be some they say the cost for the attacker is really high. It's high, I mean, like they just don't have a reason to do that because they cannot make money, or they probably feel in the way, or they have the risk to be captured. I think that should be the balance in the end. We have the better security information. We have the security situation, I mean, in a better way. So, I mean, what kind of the Web3 security data service do we need? I mean, I had actually mentioned a little bit on that. Because just thinking about how the user losing their asset, losing their money. First, you're probably losing a private key. That is not in this case, because that was mostly held by different users and more on the Web 2 like equipment end. But there are also a lot of people actually they're losing money just because they buy some fake asset. It's like fake NFT. It's like some rug pull. It's some honeypot token, or there was some malicious function hiding in the metadata under the NFT you're buying. And then another very high frequency thing is, as I mentioned, is about signing and also approval. And then it's about malicious address. So we have been developing this secure data, I mean, regarding on each of this problem, like a token detection and security API, NFT detection API. So we're going to detect it on the smart contract, on the liquidity, on the basic information, on all the fundamentals. We label them together. We have the database, have all the labels, have all the tokens. For example, regarding on the token, we have 2.5 million. Regarding on the NFT, we have 10 million NFT which have been labeled with risky or not. And so who's going to use all this data? Is actually, I mean, we are not trying to do that like in the front end, but actually it was the most frequent interacted apps or software like users are using, like a data website, like a wallet, like some D app, or even some browser. Because that's a place the user are using that every day. You're checking your asset, you do all the interaction. That is like the master road you go through when you're doing something. And here's a corner, you could see a lot of the logos, like who is using our data. I'm not going to read their name, but it's something like CMC, CoinGecko, I mean, Trust Wallet, and even broader, like Opera. Sorry. But beside the data, I mean, what else we could do? Sorry about it. Okay. What else we could do? I mean, because the data somehow is still like the halfway to protect you. You see the data, you understand something, but it's still a gap. Like, what you're going to do with it? I mean, if someone really say hacking your thing, you just hiding, don't do any interaction, or what? So we do see there's a need, like they should need it, like some, like some Web2, some antivirus software. There could be someone who is making some monitoring software or like the firewall. When you're really doing something different, when you're really doing something dangerous, they could jump out to say, hey, this is something malicious. You shouldn't do that. Or even some solution, they are kind of connecting with RPC, with the MEV process. So when you're really doing something malicious, they will do the transaction segmentation, and they're really sure that is something you shouldn't do. They could cut off the deal. They could protect you in a proactive way. I mean, like that. But this is actually in different scenario, and this is actually, we always have a different way we can do that. So for ourselves, we also organize this security ecosystem. So this is like a website, you can find a different type of the security service solutions. You could subscribe, and you could use them to protect yourself in the following. And here's a little bit roadmap about what we are going. I just go through this quickly because in Denver, a very important thing we are announcing here is we are announcing a security ecosystem, which is welcome all the security service provider, or data provider, all the hackers who are really interested in this is going to apply there. And yeah, this is our bounty. I don't know if here there is any hacker participating in the hackathon, but if you're interested, or if you have a friends who are interested in doing something on that, you could tell them like Go Security have the bounty regarding on protecting users in interface. I mean on different data, new type of data funding ways and new algorithm, or like finding a better way to improving the interaction with letting the user to be aware of all the security thing. Who knows this picture? Yeah, this is probably a little bit old, but not that old. It's maybe 20, 30 years ago, I don't know. But this is in the Star Wars, okay? This is like the doom of the Jedi. So why I'm showing here? Because, I mean, for us, we started to do the secure data thing since 2020, but right now we are actually already the largest user security data provider. But there actually also another question behind it is how could you make sure in the end we are not to become another censorship about it? What could be a better way to make the whole security data labeling to be a decentralized and sustainable infrastructure in the long run? So here's two more things I would just want to mention, because we are, beside on the business part, we are doing on the technical part, we are also right now is creating a decentralized data framework to allow more security companies or hackers to join with the security data sharing. Because the problem is, we don't want to say in the end it's like back to the Web2 security and security world. You have someone who is a monopoly on all the data, and it's easily to take advantage on others to say, I have the authority to decide who is safe or not, and actually you don't really have the power to argue with me. Or at the same time, I have this whole secure database with all the labeling, but haha, unfortunately, you don't have it. And by all of this advantage, in the end, it will be very hard for some newcomers to enter in this field to say, oh, I also want to do something new. Can you let me in? Well, you can, but you don't have data. You don't have the thing. You don't have any precondition infrastructure there. So I think this is something is also we remembered in our mind. So the Go Security in our data API is being built as an open, permissionless, and free version in the very beginning, and we keep on doing that. And the second thing is, since I mentioned something called security data sharing, but this is something different, I mean, or more sophisticated if we compare with something like, pricing, like Oracle, like you probably all know Chainlink. But the sophisticated thing for security labeling data algorithm whatsoever, it is more sophisticated than just the price, or to say it's just a number. Because this is actually someone was doing all this algorithm by maybe static checking, dynamic checking, sandbox, some machine learning algorithm to check if they have a function heading in their smart contract or metadata or their liquidity tool or trading watch whatsoever. So the conclusion there first is not like as simple, just say, oh, this is a number. This is actually maybe a bunch of labeling there. So since that was kind of sophisticated, so it's like something, I mean, you can do that, I can do that, but we can do that in a different way, but how could I judge who make it in a better way? So this is actually more sophisticated question about, not just about showing some result, and you just compare with me, so to see who is more accurate. This is actually, it's like a multi-party collaborative data decision model. But the thing is, it's not like a sophisticated as a, how do you say, like the parliamentary discussion, right now it's a lot of dowsing, you still need to have a lot of manual work. I mean, I have no problem with it, but it's rather sophisticated and it's taking a lot of time. But for real-time security detection, I want to get it right now, because I want to protect myself, because this hacker, this cracker, probably just trying to attack me on the next second. So what I could do is, this is actually, it's like a federal learning model, like you can use it, which means we can put different algorithm, different model to train there, but it's not to say we can say, or we can make judges who is better or not. I don't do that. I just like the different algorithm training there, but I will going to, it's also like the comparison in the real world to see who have the better probability, who have the better performance regarding on the security detection. But in the long way, we're trying to find the better algorithm out of it, and that could have the bigger voice in there in this final decision. Say, oh, I have the better model, but you are not that good, but you need to train. But this is not. This will never be an ending game, because there will always be someone jumping into with a new algorithm, with a new data. And in the end, we just trying to hope it's becoming a dynamic comparison war with it, but it's like in the back end. And all the point of doing this is because we want to make sure in the user side, they can really getting a better data to detecting on the security issue. However, this is also a challenge after that. And this is not easy task to do. I don't know how much of you like really interested in this data process or have the experience on that, but I just putting it simply into 4 points. It's not easy, because first, on currently public chain, blockchain, I mean, whatever is layer 1, layer 2, module blockchain, storage, there's no mature infrastructure. I just can use it right now. Okay. There are someone doing something like that, but it's more like the testnet or like the beta version. We have tried some of them, but it's not the same efficiency, the same robust, the same data concurrency could support it on that. And secondly, regarding on security thing, I have explained a little bit blah, 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 blah about what is it. And another very tricky thing is for security data provider, they don't want to show everything. Yeah, you see what my point? Because I have mentioned, security is like the war between the attacker and defender. So the defenders, we're trying to put the algorithm to do all the labelings or the similar thing to say, hey, you're a scammer, but I don't want you to know how did I do that. You got it? So the final day, I just want to show my data, but all my algorithm is like in the privacy model. I won't let you know, because once I open that, everybody will know how did I detect it. Because the cracker, the attacker, they will also know how do I did it. So they were trying to go around with us. And that's actually our daily job every day. So we don't want to publish all our weak part on there. And the third part is the process of the data decision, which is like the IMDD I just mentioned. But actually, I'm not 100% sure that will be the perfect model in the end. But I just think this is a most likely model we can use it. But this is also kind of in the early stage on the modeling side, on the algorithm processing side. And and this is and underneath is actually this is also using a lot of ZKP, but we didn't really highlight ZKP because this is not like a super big phenomenon. We're going to say we are ZK security whatsoever, because ZK is just a tool. It's just a tooling. Okay, it's just a tooling to use it, and it's not a general purpose to use it. You still need to train on a different model. It's like any of the AI model you need to train there. So this is probably still need to long way to have a perfect one there. And in the end, because this is not the data you can just use directly, so we probably need a secondary buffer mechanism. It's like before we get the result, we are doing some judgment on that, but this pool, we have different decided data who's showing there, but people can kind of competing each other, but we have to have this mechanism. And this mechanism is buffering the data. We are not sure yet. But once we're sure about it, or we have better version about it, we will update it, the API data you are using now, but actually behind it, this is a lot of pending data behind it. And how do you do that? This is also, I mean, theoretically in practice, we're still facing a lot of challenge, but we are working on that. So that's basically the 4 challenges we are working now, and all in the end is going to be make this decentralized security infrastructure in a long and sustainable way. But one more point I think I want to make here, actually this challenging here for us is not only for security. It's probably for a lot of similar things. It could be social, it could be gaming. If we want to onboard more, say, Web2, I mean, traditional application into Web3 world, it's not only about the scalability for the public chain. That's one side. Actually, it's also about the sophisticated, about the data deal, about the database, about how to handling all the, I mean, the sophisticated mechanism behind it. So that could be a question for many of them. And that, I think, will be a very important question to really have a continuous growing Web3, but not only stay at this stage. Thank you. That's pretty much what I have today. And since we're in Denver, this is our local, which is Mile High Production. And we have the booth under there. I mean, it's very close to the exist. It's called Go Plus, and there's a lot of candy and different ink cans there. Welcome to visit us. Thank you.